siblings, fear is still there. But the one thing that I knew would do is I had to do what everyone else was doing, but in a different way. So if people are thinking outside the box, I had to think outside the box. If I had to take security measures,
the spiritual aspect, we would like to understand. So did you grow out of this? Did this experience draw you closer to God? Or what would you advise other women when they are faced in such a scenario?
Well, the fact that we couldn't come to church, me personally, I had a little one, and one of the restrictions was not bringing little ones to church. So definitely that meant I couldn't come to church, I couldn't serve, and to that you would see it as going backwards. But thankfully, there was always online services on YouTube, Facebook, that really helped us keep on. And also during the lockdown as a family, we did family altars every day, and it brought us to another level in our spiritual life. So yeah, we thank God.
Okay, thank you very much. Rina, that is how you grew out of it, by drawing closer to God. This would be an encouragement to women out there, that when faced with trouble or trial or faced with a situation like a lockdown, such scenarios where you can meet fellow women, if it's meeting them online or if it's a small group in your community, if you can pray together, if you can follow your local church or follow the church online, these things empower you and strengthen you, and you are able to then advance in life and think of better ways of surviving the current situation that you are in. Thank you. I would go back to Kristen. So Kristen, what happened? Because we know that you were told to stop working and you lost your salary for a while. Yes. So how did you survive? How did you think of moving forward after that?
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's true that my salary was deducted. And of course, it put me down because all my plans were dropped. But the good thing is that the little I had saved in that period when I was in maternity leave. After the lockdown, of course, I had to use it wisely, and it so happened that I started my 2 chapati points. Yeah, that I used little capital to start, but it is helping me even up to now. At least I can get something to survive.
So Kristen started 2 points that make a local meal that's called chapati. And these points, she says, were easy to set up. How much do you think it cost you to set up so other women who are thinking of the same can start?
Well, I used little money, I may say, because each point I managed to use 400,000. So I spent 800 on each, all.
All right, so Kristen started a business called a chapati business on 2 different points with an estimate of slightly over $100. And this is an encouragement to women out there that with whatever you have, you can start something. That was Kristen's idea. Kristen, do you think there are other businesses out there that women can start?
Yeah, of course there are many businesses. There are so many businesses that don't require even much capital. Yeah, I advise my fellow women, if you can get little capital, whichever money you can get, as long as you're creative, you can start something small, like maybe you start by making, even women, you can make chapatis yourselves, you can do pans, you can do groceries. I'm telling you, they are making a lot of money, and yet what you put in is little.
Thank you very much, Kristen. We'll get back to you for more. So, Fiona, we would like to know, so you say you had to fend for yourself. You moved to a citizen that's fending for herself. What did you do that any other girl can do?
One, I had to use my social capital. Normally, the market that we have starts with the people around us. So I had to engage the people that I had around me so that I could serve them. basic things like food, because in the pandemic, everyone had to feed. We spent much time home that we did at work, so people had to feed. I had to engage the social capital that I had. I had to plan, to learn how to now properly plan. If it means planning for the next 6 months, I had to, because the pandemic wasn't predictable. We thought, like Rina said, 14 days, then we had another 21, then we went into 14. Before you knew it, we had 3 months down the road. So I knew I had to now plan. This knowledge that I had, that I'd gotten from school, I had to put into use at such a time. Things like minimizing costs and expenditure. Things like the things that I had to forego or that I could do myself, things that I used to pay a service provider to do. Now I had to do them myself because I knew I had to plan like everyone else. And as a young person, you don't want to be going around begging because everyone at that time was facing the pandemic a different way. So I had to plan.
Well, thank you very much, Fiona. So you had to use your social capital. You had to start planning. These are things that we only hear in class sometimes, but it's challenging that we see that young people are now learning these skills. And this is an encouragement to young women out there. Fiona is an ambassador of young people, and she's talking about planning. She's talking about using her resources well, using her social capital, and starting with things that are available. You talked about putting your brand in somebody's home. That was very powerful. And women can learn this. Young girls can learn this. We know that girls have left school, and many of them are home. You have friends who you know are also home. Do you think they're doing the same? Are they coping the same way as you?
Some are coping, some are not. People were faced with such a situation that they didn't know where to find hope. So you really had to get hope from a source, and then you'd face tomorrow. But like you said, very many businesses are now coming up. Online marketing, people are now doing businesses online. The time that would have spent going to a market to look for something, you can find it on your phone. So young adults are now doing such things as advertising businesses online, working online so that you don't have to go. Even transport costs now are up. You realize that the money that we used to spend before going to town and back from work is now doubled or tripled. So we had to learn and use our knowledge from class and get ways of how we now fit in the society, but while we are surviving the very society.
Wow, thank you very much. Let's give our panel a round of applause before we get to the second phase of our questions. In the meantime, I just want to encourage you. We have a media store that sells books from our very own dad. We have books that have been on previously. We have In Pursuit of Your Dreams. We have No More Delays. And recently, we have a book that we would like you to know about. It's a daily devotional. This is a guide, and we've been talking about a pandemic. And you know that in every single day, people are looking for a word to get by the day. So you have 360 daily devotional guides for a day. Each day you can pick something and learn about how life is moving or learn about what God is saying in your life. Please make your order. Jubilee City, Uganda, My Dream Therapy. It's a daily devotional by our dad, Apostle Dr. Wilson Evans Kulaba. Look out for this. This is the in thing. Thank you very much. Welcome back, our panel. So we'd like to know how you overcame. We would like to get to break this down. We know that, Rina, you started a salon. What did it cost you to actually start this? How are you getting out of this? Can anybody else start the same?
Yeah, well, I looked out for an expertise who already had salon expertise and asked them to draw for me a budget as I was making research on the business, getting to know the money to put in, getting to know how much the equipment would cost me, all that. And starters, the person told me 2.5, and it looked like a doable thing. But down the road, I realized I had to part away with 4M to do something excellent, something that is going to make my customers feel comfortable. And 3 months down the road, we had already started, the salon had started to be, is already, self-sustaining, and it is progressing. Yeah. So I started with 4M, now I'm around 20% profit, so you're doing okay.
All right, so Rina started with slightly over $1,000 to start a saloon. A saloon is a bigger version of a small-scale business. With over $1,000, you started a saloon, and you say that in 3 months you're making 20% profit. For a layman to understand this, how much do you think, would you break it down per day?
Well, per day, because we do hairdressing, and also we deal in selling ladies' hair, so they know better. But a day we part out with not less than 50,000 per day. Yeah.
That's in profit.
Yes, in profit.
Thank you, Rina. So that 50,000, at least in a day, by the end of the month, you should be able to, in a way, support your family.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Would you like to suggest other businesses that other women can start?
Well, I would suggest something that I'm very passionate about, that I know that it can make for you money, even starters with little capital, is juice. Making juice. All you have to do is to be excellent. There is juice out there, but like Fiona said, a brand. You brand yourself, give people something excellent. For starters, you can, for example, watermelon in our market now, it is just 5,000, a good one, and a pineapple is also like 4,000. If you blend that, you have a good cocktail. You don't need sugar. And you would sell like around 10 glasses, each at 2,000, and that will be making you 20,000 a day, and you part out with your 11,000 profit. That is just, you started with 9,000, you're making 20,000, that gives you 11,000 profit. That is something you can start even at your home. So if you're making your binyewa business, which are G-nuts, do it excellently. There are many out there, but once you brand yourself as someone who gives quality and something excellent, definitely you will see people coming and you will excel at that business. Yeah.
Thank you, Rina. We are looking at the aspect of quality and excellence. We know that there are women out there. We have women in marketplaces who are doing some of these things already. We have women who have started small-scale retail shops. We have women who are maybe doing simple things at home, maybe chicken and tailoring, whatever has been given to them. You talk of quality and excellence. Emphasize on this. What does it mean for a woman to be excellent?
Yeah, thank you. I remember when I was starting a salon, everyone was telling me, just do something cheap, just do something like everyone is doing. But in me, I had a vision. I was like, if I'm going to do something, I should do it out of how my customer will feel, how they will feel when they come in. So I did something small but excellent, like every detail was there. And that, if you see, we had just started, but even before opening, people were already coming. Why? Because there was something excellent they were seeing. So yes, salons are out there. Our G-nut business is out there. Juice is out there, but my friend, if you're to excel, you have to do something excellent and give people quality. People are looking for quality. People are looking for excellence. And if you give them that, I guarantee you, you're going to excel in the market. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Rina. What we take from this is that every woman and man out there who are doing in whatever you're doing, despite being in a pandemic, you can be excellent. You can give your quality. You can name your brand. You can put it in every household. You can do something distinct, even with a few resources. One of the businesses that Rina talked about, which was about making juice, she talked about putting in an input of slightly about $2 if you buy a pineapple or watermelon. And you understand that with that you don't even need sugar. you're making juice and making a profit of over $4 out of it. So these are things that women out there, we can stand out. We can stand out in society. We can be excellent. We can put our name to our brand. And we can even be excellent at church. Thank you very much, Rina. So, Christine, we go back to you. You've done all this. And with this business that you started, the chapati selling points, are you able to take care of your family?
Yeah, of course, I'm able to take care of my family. The good thing, I was called back to my job, and now this chapati business is giving me daily money. Like every day, I have to pass by and collect my money, so I am able to take care of my family.
That's a very important point. It means that for every woman, even for those who are working, you are able to start a side business, and you're able to do something that brings in more income into the family. You'd like to encourage women to do that, to open side businesses and not rely on one income?
Yeah, of course, it's better. It's better to have a side business because we rely on salaries, but then sometimes our salaries delays, or sometimes it comes and finds a lot of problems. But when you have a side business, you cannot lack money for food, you will not lack transport. Like, you will look at your salary as money for doing other big things. But these little businesses, the side incomes, they help you in daily expenses.
Thank you very much, Kristen. And Fiona, the business that you started, expound on it, and also, is it supporting you right now?
Yes, it is. One thing that I talked about, branding, our generation, or people around my age, we are privileged to have lots of information and sources of knowledge. So I realized I had to do things like online self-study, or getting someone to teach me how they handle business, how they do branding, how they do different things in life. So yes, it's still there, it's still working, and it has helped me now invest more, to diversify, so I don't rely on salary. It's never too young to start investing. It's never too young to own shares in a company. It's never too young to own land. Whether you're a girl or you're in school, it helps. So I realize people our age have a lot of information that they can use to stand out and do business.
Thank you, Fiona. It intrigues me that you're doing all these things right now. But emotionally and socially, we know that young women at your age go through different other challenges, maybe some relational challenges, challenge with knowing who you are, your esteem. Do you have a good support system that does that? Does the pandemic enable you? Can you do that even in the midst of the pandemic?
Yes, I would say yes, because when the pandemic came, we had things like Zoom. So we'd do Zoom meetings or calling people, social media, WhatsApp and all that. It depends on how you keep relationships as a young girl and as a young woman. So those relationships or your social capital is what now stands out for you, are the people that tell you what's there in the market. Because if you've been out in the market for 1 year or 2 years, you might not really know what the marketplace is like before you get into it. So yes, social capital is very good. It has helped me in the pandemic. Though at some point, you realize some things fall off because you're not able to physically meet up with people. You don't know how they're physically doing. Over the phone, they could say they are fine when they're not really fine. Something you would have noticed had you met them physically. So there is that side of the pandemic, social-wise, but then there is a good side because now everything was able to be done online, minus moving, minus involving time. Yes.
Thank you. We know that we can see and observe from what you're saying that your lives moved from a position of fear to a position of control, and now you're much more in control of your emotions, your finances, and your social environment. Would like to know, being in church or reading the Word of God, how did this help you? Have you known God better in this season? I'll start with Rina.
Well, yes, because like I said before, as a family, it helped us to have more time. and were able to do those daily family altars, which we are still doing, and it helped us grow in the Word, and even as a family to bond more. Yeah, and also I had more time to read the Bible, like on a personal, really personal level. So it has really helped me grow spiritually, if I may say. And thanks to our dad and our dear pastors who are always, ready to give us the daily messages online. And it really helped us, being not able to come to church physically. Those online platforms really helped us. So thanks to our dear dad and our dear pastors. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Rina. Kristen, how have you grown in knowing God in this season?
Well, the COVID lockdown helped me to grow spiritually. I myself am someone who has never preached, given a testimony, but the family I joined in village, the born agains, so I was given a chance to preach. We would meet every Sunday, we would gather, our family would gather and we pray. So I was sometimes given time to preach to my family, to read the Bible. Then we were also tasked to fast every Wednesday. So it made me also grow spiritually because I would be in prayers all the time.
Thank you very much, Kristen. Fiona, how have you grown spiritually in this season?
This season kept me engaged in ministry more than I was before the pandemic. I was lucky I was among the few people that could manage to come over and serve. So it was a time of self-check. Do you really know God, or you just know about God? When you're alone, can you pray? When you've not been told to read the Word, can you read the Word? When you've not been reminded to go online and follow a service, can you follow the Word online? So it was a moment to check ourselves. People our age, we love social media, but for different things. You go watch a movie, you go talk to friends. But now it was a time of self-check. There was a lot of service from this ministry online, the Word, the online services. So it was a good time to utilize to now set our priorities right in using social media and data. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much. These are the views from our panel, and we see that they have really grown, and I know that we are learning from some of these. Would like to encourage women out there, and men as well, that you can get out of a situation you're in. It might not be a pandemic, it might be a sickness. It might not be a pandemic, it might be a loss of a job. It might not be a pandemic, you might be crippled. You can get out of whatever situation you are in if you have strategy. And what we've learned from some of the discussion here is about planning. Let's start to think. Let's start to plan. What are you planning to do 1 week ahead from now? What are your plans 6 months from now? What is the plan for your family a year from now? As a woman, do you picture that? As a young man out there, do you picture that? Let's start to foresee. We understand from what the women say that there was an element of shock at the time of the pandemic, and this happens to many people out there. It has happened to almost everybody. People were shocked that there's a new system. You're not moving around as often, you're not in your job as often, and life has changed. But if we were given a chance for this pandemic to come back, shall we be more prepared? Can we think better? Can we prepare our minds better? And this is the purpose of this discussion. We open up what some of the women have gone through so that you can understand that the next time such a scenario comes to you, you can be able to respond to it differently. For those who are working, can you start a side business? Can you start multiple sources? Can you have multiple sources of income? And also we see spiritually, we know that some people watching us, you might not be able to go to church, or you're not even a Christian. Find a group that can help you. Tune in online if you can find a message online that can help you grow even in the hard times. Women, we encourage you, if you can find a society of women a group of women that you can pray with, a group of women that can encourage you, would like you to join these groups. Would like you to spend time, read the Word of God, put it in your schedule, put it in your planning, do things that will encourage you spiritually and also build you socially and economically. So this was our panel today, and we are delighted that you've been a part of us. We would like to hear more. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us at the end of the service. If you have questions and you're online, you can type them in, Jubilee City, Uganda, send them in our inbox. We have people who respond to them. We've delighted in you being a part of us, and we hope you've benefited from what we have had to share. We know that your life will not be the same again. Once again, let's give our panel a round of applause. Thank you very much. These are very brave ladies, and thank you for being brave. We really appreciate you. And for Jubilee City, Uganda, would like to encourage you. Would like to thank our dad and mom for giving us the opportunity as soul sisters to minister to you. Would like to thank you for allowing us to express ourselves.
Thank you for watching this telecast. We believe you've been encouraged and inspired to pursue your dream. We would love to hear from you. Write to us or call us and give us your testimony or prayer request. Visit our website to access a wide range of resources. Once again, from here at Jubilee, we wish you God's best as you